that's useless. So we are following the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he states in his Shikshastaka prayers, the first prayer, he has one line, it's called Vijja Vadu Jivanam, saying the devotion is the life of knowledge. Devotion is the life of knowledge. So if we want to bring some life to our knowledge, then we should preach, and we should try to spread it onto others. And we can understand from so many instructions by Srila Prabhupada that is what he desires. That we should spread this movement, we should spread it like wildfire as much as we can. He said spread it or at least maintain it. So if we are so useless that we cannot spread this movement, then at least we should maintain it. But yeah, we see all over the world like so many good examples. Like in England they are doing great, so much preaching, and in Hungary and in India it's like going like anything. And so we should like be very anxious to also spread like that, because that will make life so much more exciting. Because if we are actually following the instructions and linking our desire with the desire of the spiritual master, then we become very, very happy. So we should be very eager to do that. So I was thinking a little bit of how can we do that? How can we spread this movement? How can we engage more people in Krishna service, and those who are already engaged in Krishna service? How can we encourage them, inspiring them to do much, much more? So Srila Prabhupada, he said this when they had, I don't know how many devotees, like was it 300, 500 or something like that. He said, okay, now we have enough devotees. Now we need to boil the milk. Now we need to make sweet burfi. Not just pour in milk, because then we never get burfi. So I was thinking, how can we do this here in our little Copenhagen temple? So we already have a congregation where so many people, we have like 60, 80 guests per Sunday. Maybe sometimes we even have 100 guests. So that is very, very many people actually, quite many people. Considering that Srila Prabhupada, he said when they had 300 devotees in America, okay, that's enough. Now we need to cool it down, and now we need to boil the milk. So actually we are so many times, I am so many times thinking, oh, where is this person coming? Who will join? Who will shave up and move into the ashram and dedicate his life to the service of the spiritual master? Because we need more warriors, I was thinking. But actually we have so many people coming to the temple all the time. So if we can boil the milk amongst ourselves, then actually we are quite a big movement already in small little Denmark. So I was thinking, one practical point of how can we boil this milk, how can we get stronger relationship amongst the devotees coming in the temple, and how can we make them inspired and encouraged to participate as much as possible. And I realized a few Sundays ago, I was helping serving the prasadam at the Sunday feast, and then I noticed there was one Prabhu that I was going to ask something, and I realized this person has been here maybe every Sunday for as long as I have come in the temple, for like 2.5 years. And I don't know the name of that person. And I was thinking, wow, that's bad. That's like really bad. You've been seeing a person like every week for 2.5 years and you don't know the name of that person? So I was asking him, Prabhu, please excuse me, what is your name? And he told me his name was Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So I had that realization there that actually I want to learn the names of all the devotees who come here regularly. Because I think, and if everyone did that, like every Sunday you just like see a person, oh, this person comes regularly, I don't know the name of that person. Then you walk up and say, excuse me Prabhu, excuse me Mataji, I'm a little embarrassed, actually I don't know your name. And then they will become very pleased because you relate to them in a personal way. And if we here who come here very regularly, like every day, living in the temple or coming like Jai Prabhu and doing seva every single day, like the regular devotees, if we all like try to do this a little, try to learn the names, pick up a few names here and there, and like day by day learn all of them, I can imagine the atmosphere becomes much nicer. I can imagine that people coming here for a Sunday, and what's the difference between if they just sit down and they chant and they eat and then they go. But if they come and 4, 5, 6 devotees say, "Hey, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, nice to see you this Sunday," then he will feel very, very happy to come here, because so much like personal relation. And like if everyone has it like that, I can imagine we will have like many more Nitya Seva members, we will have many more people coming here like Jai and doing service at night or whenever they have time, or people coming to Vegetarian Saturday chanting Hare Krishna, people picking up a book and say, "Hey, actually I like this Krishna conscious movement so much, I would like to help, I would like to distribute 1 book a day," or something like that. So another thing about learning names, besides for winning the heart of the people, that is, it creates a very pleasant atmosphere. So when new people, they come here, and they can feel that. If the atmosphere is very, very pleasant, then they become attracted. Then they're like, "Wow, I never saw this kind of personalism before in my life." And then they will want to stay, very naturally. If people, they come, and they go, and they don't come back, that means something is wrong with us, with our dealings amongst each other. Because I meet so many people in the street who say, yeah, I read Bhagavad Gita the last 4 years. I am a Krishna devotee, they say. They tell me Hari Bol, but I never see them in the temple. So why is that? So I was just thinking this is a practical point to learn the names of the people, and I think that will help a huge deal, like making a tighter community, making a pleasant atmosphere, winning the people's heart. And besides that, half of the Indians, I learned the names of 3 Indians here the last Sunday. And one of them was Sri Krishna Chaitanya, another one was Satyam, meaning truth, and another one was Krishna. So that's like 3 people, and you get to chant the name of Krishna like 4 times. So that's so much benefit in learning people's names. Another point I would like to mention is that this weekend in Copenhagen was very, very chaotic. 1st of May, 100,000 people, all completely drunk in Fælledparken. But we were there and we distributed books and we had Harinam. So many people, they got benefit. And yesterday on the Nishinga Chaturdasi, there was a marijuana march, where in Copenhagen, starting in Christianshavn, where they had like a huge truck with like, and I think that was like, it was bigger than our Ratha Yatra cart. And they had, on top, they had like a huge papier-mâché joint, like that thing you smoke, like meters and meters long on the roof of that truck. And there were thousands of people marching in the street with flags and singing and like anything. And I was actually, to be honest, feeling a little embarrassed on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. Because when we have Harinam, we have a problem gathering like 4 or 5 devotees. And they have a marijuana march, and they gather thousands of thousands and thousands. So let us, because we have something much more better than that. Like, they are so miserable. They are completely miserable with their cannabis. They are like, the only reason that they all smoke that's because it's illegal. I am so assured that if cannabis was legalized, then 90% of the people, they would stop to smoke it. They only do it because they hate the government, and that's their way of being like rebels and like that. But it's like that in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, where it's legal, only the tourists smoke. All the Holland people, they don't smoke because they think that this is like low class because it's legal. So, HG Gaura Nitai. Yeah. So we have something much better in Krishna consciousness. We have Krishna consciousness is anadam purivaranam. It's an ever-expanding ocean of transcendental bliss, and no one has anything that can compare to it. So, but sometimes also we should know to whom we are speaking. So, for example, if we talk to regular people on the street, we don't tell them up in their face, yeah, you are doing this and this and this, and that's bad, so you should stop it. And you should, like, instead you should get up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, and you should chant Hare Krishna and like this and like that. So that is true, that is good instructions, but time, place and circumstance. If we go fishing, for example, if we want to catch a fish, then, for example, I like rasagula very much. I think rasagula is so nice. But if I want to catch a fish, then I don't put a rasagula on the hook. Because the fish, that's not their rasa. They don't want rasagula, they want a grasshopper or a nasty worm or something like that. So that's what you put on the hook. If you want, of course we're devotees, so we don't fish. We also don't pierce worms and grasshoppers on hooks. But just the analogy is still like quite appropriate. So, but if we want to catch these people, then we do it with ourselves, first of all, being engaged in Krishna consciousness, because then naturally we become happy, and happiness is very attractive. If you have genuine happiness, people, they go like, why is he so happy? I want to be too. So everyone is searching for happiness. So when people see it, they will become attracted, and they will ask, hey, why are you so happy? Actually, I'm so miserable, so why are you so happy? What do you do that I don't do? And then you can start to preach. Like Krishna, he waited until Arjuna became a little humble and said, please instruct me. And then Krishna goes, okay. So we don't go up to people who don't want to be instructed and tell them this thing and that thing. But when they come and they ask, then we can instruct them. But until then, just put the worm on the hook and just say, yeah, we eat, we sing and we dance. And that's it. So please come and join. And then they will come, and then by chanting the holy names, by taking prasadam, then they will get purified, and they will get spiritual bliss, they will get that satisfaction of the soul. And then one might ask, okay, so how can I increase it? How can I get more? Or the people who got a taste, like maybe Krishna, he gave them a little preview and melted their heart. And then it disappeared again. So they will come back and say, hey, what happened? I was so happy, but it was amazing, but now it's gone. How can I get it back? And then we can instruct them. So, but yeah, the first thing is to get them attracted. And my main point in this lecture was this about learning the names and creating that nice atmosphere in the temple, because I think that will be very attractive and that will be a step in the right direction. So I can ask now if there's any comments or questions. Martin?
Yeah, you say that attraction is our happiness. And when we go out to people, we show we are happy. And that is, that's why, one of the reasons why we are happy, because we are protected. And another thing is that we give association, we don't take. And that is also that happiness we have. We don't associate in that way. We give what we have, and we are protected, because that is the happiness. That's the happiness that come out. We are protected by Srila Prabhupada. ISKCON, we are protected by each other in our association, as you say, in the Sunday. So that is very attractive. Like you said, it's really important to understand a group who is very together, understand each other, accept each other's qualities, accept each other's services, and understand that everything we do here is to please Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. This is the happiness we have together. We don't do anything by ourselves. Because one stick, boom. Many sticks, strong. So we keep that mood between us, as you said. It's very important. And that is what we have given. That is that happiness we have in our community. Because Janardana also said another thing the other day. He said, we stick together. Yeah. There is glue between us because we have the same goal of life.
Thank you for the very good points, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your great points.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any further comments or questions? Okay. One? Just a hand.
You could say that I think one of the nice points of the lecture was that the modern society, the education and like that, it's just it's so stupid. There's just no intelligence. Even this karma, artha, moksha, or like this, that they don't. Even the religious economic, like development, religious development is also completely taken out into picture, and it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's just reflection, and so really bad.
Yeah. It is definitely really bad situation. So yeah, like Mataji says, we should not get influenced by the society around us.
Yeah.
Like we should just give, don't take. Learn to be a lotus flower. Ramanyataya kamani sangam chakva karoti adipyatena sapapena padmapataram vivambasa. Bhagavad Gita 5.10, where Krishna, he says, how is this? One who is unattached to the fruits of his actions and like devoting all his activities unto me, he is like a lotus flower, untouched by the water. So in the same way, we are untouched by the sinful activities. So sinful activity is all around us, but if we are unattached to the fruits of our actions, we're giving all the fruits to Krishna, then we become like that lotus flower. And in order to do that, we need to have strong devotee association, like Mataji says, because we are a product of our surroundings. So we should really, we should cherish the devotees like anything, and we should really learn to like capitalize on that association and like be present with the devotees and engage in talking about Krishna, engage in appreciating the devotees, appreciating and not flattering, because we are told by the books that we should glorify the devotees. So we might do just lip service sometimes, but actually see the good qualities of the devotees and appreciate them, because then it rubs off on us, and then in that way we can remain unattached by this crazy society that we happen to take birth in. Yes, Kumagora, something?
No, there was just this, like, this preach, everybody should preach.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that, we have also our varnas, so sometimes, it can also, backfire, when somebody, is doing something that, outside of his, duties, outside of his occupational duties, which is not his nature, like that, and So like you have like, in the army also you have the front line and then there's the back end, like you
Yeah.
need all the support, you need,
But they all serve the same purpose.
Yeah. So they are equally as important like that. No? So even though they may not be, preaching out on the front lines, but still they are important because,
Yeah,
they are supporting the whole show. Yeah. Like
definitely.
that, so.
But also preaching, that does not necessarily mean like, what do you say, like the Christians who like take a milk box and like put it out on the street and then they stand on the milk box and then they preach the sermon and Jesus loves you and if you don't love him you go to hell and this and that. That's not necessarily preaching. Preaching can also just mean hello, how are you doing? And like just being nice with the people who come here. Like, yeah, for example, learn a name of a devotee and say hi, it's nice to see you. And like that, just whatever gets people closer to Krishna. And like this about, for example, book distribution is so nice because you don't necessarily have to tell them anything about philosophy. But you can just tell them, hello, you look like a nice person. This is a nice book about karma. Have you heard about karma before? Okay, would you like to take it? And then maybe they say yes. And that's like, but the rookie mistake is of course that you go and you say, hey, excuse me, hi, I need to explain you about the Vedas. And then you start off, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, now you inquire about the absolute truth. And maybe like you say, different devotees have different manas. But yeah, and like preaching also is Harinam, and preaching is prasadam distribution. And like, yeah, so we should, I was looking for this verse, which I cannot find right now. Tejasvi Prabhu, this verse Krishna, he speaks that everyone should be like trees.
Like trees? Oh, but that is that's in the pastime of, I think it's in the pastime of the Brahma's wives, the deliverance of the Brahma's wives, where he instructs.
You know what chapter it is?
Krishna book?
It's the
Krishna
10th
book,
canto. It must be somewhere between 15 and 20, but I'm afraid I can't give.
I have the shloka book here, so it should be quite easy to find. Yeah, here we have. It is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. Actually, that was not the one with trees, but I think
No,
that's.
I think he gives like some. Just see these trees, they.
Yeah.
Maybe we had another one, but that's also
That's
because he gives the example of the trees afterwards in the following verse actually.
So Krishna here, he says, it's the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefits of others with his life, with his wealth, with his intelligence, and with his words. So like, here we have like different examples of preaching, because you can preach with your wealth, you can make Shastradhan, you can preach with your intelligence, you can write a book, you can go on the street and talk to people. So, but everyone should be engaged in preaching. That's Srila Prabhupada's instructions. He said that I want everyone to try for the Sankirtan, for book distribution as soon as possible. Prabhu?
Actually, I knew one East European devotee who was coming this temple long time, and then he moved to his temple. And before he said to me that actually in this temple he found that there is not so much movement. He said there is only for chanting and they don't have so much movement. But when I have started here, now I can see like every day morning people can join with us and we have lot of movement. Saturday, Friday, Sunday, we do lot of things. But I think maybe what we do, maybe we should publish in our Facebook group or somewhere, and people can see that there is a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
Actually, Denmark or total Scandinavia is a place people say there is not so much things happening. There is nothing to do. But if they know that there is something happening in the temple, we can go to the fast day. We have been there, so people know they can join with us. People don't know what is happening in this temple.
Yeah.
Because I'm living close to temple, I'm coming, then I had that, okay, today we have this, if you want to join. So if you publish in our Facebook group, then maybe they can say, okay, there's a lot of things to do is coming.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I heard a saying that, this was a quote by Navina Niraprabhu. He said that a business with no sign is a sign of no business. So yeah, and like you say, it should be advertised, it should be publicated, we should make our propaganda. So yeah, we are doing that, but to a small degree, we should do it more. Jack, okay, so it's 1:45, so we'll round off here. Yeah.
I just had a small comment that it's just interesting to see how Yamuna and Jayananda and like some of our greatest devotees in our movement, they were not book distributors in that sense. They knew the art of going out, presenting the books on the street, but their services were just like something else. But I'm just reading this book about Yamuna's life, how her and Dina Tarini, they had a women ashram where the traveling Sankirtan Matajis would come and be so inspired in their deity worship and cooking expertises and like that, and how many thousands of devotees she inspired in Munadivi with her services. So it was just a comment that even though we should all, try to go out and try to distribute some books, but it's just each devotee has his expertise and just supporting the book distributors. Yeah, anyway.
I was also, it was not meant to be like the book of the sword, but
no, it was
but yeah,
just a little comment.
it's a good point. Thank you very much for that. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we stop here.